Welcome to the Ultimate Mixtape, an interactive podcast on a mission to create an epic playlist. With submissions from your host, creative guests, and superfans along the way. What songs will make the cut? This podcast is about music, friends, and memories. Share your favorite stories on www.theultimatemixtape.com to join in the podcast fun. Here's your host, Jess Manzilla.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jess Manzilla, and with me, as always, I have my partner in crime and life, Jimmy McFadden.
Hey, everybody.
And in this episode, we are talking to the founder and curator of Unsigned Pop Punk, Patrick T.
Yeah, so Unsigned Pop Punk, they're known for their support and community in the music scene. They're helping new bands get recognition, promotion as they're coming up through the industry. So here's our interview with Patrick from Unsigned Pop Punk.
Welcome, Patrick, with the Unsigned Pop Punk. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so happy to have you with us. Originally, I actually found you on TikTok. Nice. I came across one of your videos where you were talking about a bunch of new bands. And of course, that led to me going down the rabbit hole of your Instagram and your website and just, learning a little bit more about what you guys do. And I was so impressed by how you guys are helping new bands come up. And I thought that was so interesting. And a lot of people are kind of resorting back to bands that they used to love when they were younger.
Right.
But you guys are talking a lot to bands that are new that are coming out, which I think is awesome because music is still evolving. So we got to give those new bands their kudos. Can you tell us how you got started with this and what was your inspiration for it?
Pretty much I've been doing music and stuff for 20 years. I don't know. It's been a long time now. And it pretty much came to I started making a playlist. Realistically, I just started with a playlist idea because I wanted to try and promote my band. And and then it just kind of turned into something completely different. I wasn't caring about trying to promote myself anymore. I wanted to work on helping other bands because I had my time and I'm cool with moving on and kind of helping the next generation. And so I sat down and kind of came up with a big plan of how I wanted to do that. And then Unsigned Pop Punk was born. I just kind of came, the name was just, it was kind of like a placeholder at first. So it was I don't know. I came up with a whole bunch of different names. I was we'll go with it. We'll just go with this. We'll change it later. And then I never did. And I'm well, I don't want to change it now.
Yeah, it fits perfect.
And the whole concept is trying to encapsulate the way the scene was. So when I was in a full-time touring band and doing music, we would play shows with on one bill you'd have a pop punk band and a legit emo band, a hardcore band, and everyone would sit and watch everybody and everybody would be stoked to watch everyone.
A little community, everybody rallied around each other.
Right. And so that's kind of what the whole point of Unsigned Pop Punk is. It's I don't just work with pop punk bands. It's the scene in total. It's trying to cover the whole scene. And, but a lot of it's just from doing music for so long, I know what it's like. I know how hard it is to get anybody to give a fuck about you, at all, friends, family, just giving a shit about you is almost impossible. And just with our playlist alone, I've worked with over 2,000 different bands, bands in the scene. And there's a ton of us out there. We're all grinding, all trying, and everybody wants a voice. And I just wanted to help try and let everybody be able to have a voice.
I think that's really cool because like you mentioned, you were previously in bands. what was it, Jamestown Story and Cities Never Sleep. So you have that experience touring and like you said, doing the grind like everybody else is doing. And you even started your own podcast. So if anybody's not familiar, the podcast is called Where All My Friends Go.
Mm-hmm.
And you're taking time interviewing new artists and recapping, and I see you have like playlists coming out all the time, and you do a lot of work on that. When it comes to being able to build up your own podcast and basically your own little community here, do you think you have a different, unique insight since you were a musician and still are, and have played local shows and things like that?
I mean, I don't know if I have, like, I guess I have a lot of insight because I've got a lot of years under my belt, a lot of experience under my belt. I wouldn't say I'm smarter than anybody else or better at things than anybody else. I've just done a lot. Yeah. And I have a very go get 'em personality. So I just went for it. I'm lucky enough to have a really, really supportive friends, family group. Like my wife is incredibly supportive. I was working in a group home for like 15 years. Yep. And it was like draining and probably the most miserable I'd ever been. It was, it's a incredibly unfulfilling job because they just don't care about you. Yeah. And working in the mental health field is very, very difficult. And because you're supposed to be mentally strong to take care of other people, but the people you work for don't take care of you. They overwork you and underpay you. And I was lucky enough for my wife to help me figure out we figured out a plan to where I was going to start doing Unsigned Pop Punk full time. That's why we do so much I just fucking went for it. And here I am.
Awesome. So do you think that gave you like a better quality of life now that you can focus on something that you really love, as opposed to not to say that you didn't love what you were doing before, but in a different capacity, you're still helping people, really.
Right. Yeah. No, my kids and my wife and my friends, everybody says that I'm a much happier person now. Like
That's awesome.
I mean, I'm always a goofball, and I'm always a pretty positive and happy person, but I would work. Gosh, at the end, I was a supervisor and I would work 60 to 80 hour weeks and barely scrape by.
Yeah, that's bad.
It's awful. It's awful. Like I said, it's a horrible field. I did it for so long because I cared about the people I worked and took care of. But when the people that you work for don't care about you or take care of you, it's tough.
Yeah. You need to be the priority,
right? And so I kind of took that mentality, and with Unsigned Pop Punk, I want everybody to know that I care. I care about their if you submit your band to us, I personally listen to every single submission, every single one. I'll sit there and listen to everyone. It's
so when you started the podcast, because you are getting a chance to talk to these bands one-on-one, did you have an idea of how you wanted to showcase bands, or are you just really trying to dig into like the type of music that they're making?
For the podcast wise, I mean, there's so many different music podcasts out there. So the goal was how to do the same thing but different.
Right.
I don't know. It's tough trying to be unique in a world of like everybody's got a podcast, everybody's got a YouTube channel, so I kind of just took what I knew. Like I like checking in and actually researching my guests and like learning about them, and setting up my questions and all that sort of stuff, letting them know that, like, making them know that I cared about them enough to like prepare myself. Ask questions about like their musical journeys and stuff, and then also come up with just really, really stupid questions, to like get to know just their personality, outside of music.
So when a new artist is starting, what do you think is their biggest challenge? Like, how do they break into their local scenes? Like, what has been your experience with that?
I mean, just go for it. Like, there's so many different times that like people will be like, well, I don't want to release this yet, it's not ready, or I want it to be a perfect time. There's no perfect time. Just go do it. Like, just do it. Like, release your music. It's okay if you release like a stinker. It's okay. Like, that's not a big deal. Like, just improve the next time. You're all like, the whole music is a process, a learning process. I mean, I think it was like at least almost 5 years before I was any good at all. Like, I have CDs of me where I don't know how to sing yet. I'm fucking terrible. Just
even Fall Out Boy has some shitty songs. Come on.
Right. Right. Like, it's okay to make a stinker. Let it go. It's okay. I think my biggest thing that I see bands do is like play their local area too much. Like, you can easily overplay. That is one of the biggest, like, I think, mistakes of a local band can do is overplay your scene, because it doesn't matter if you are in a huge city or a small city. Like, you gotta leave them wanting more. If you play a show and then play a show in the same city the next week, I mean, people are just gonna be like, well, I'll just catch them next time. They just keep playing.
Isn't that the like ongoing joke with pop punk, is that everybody hates their hometown, so they gotta get out of it at some point.
Yeah, I mean, when my bands were like at their peak success, we would only play our hometown once every like 6 months. And that's not even just because we're like, oh yeah, we're drawing like tons of people. Nah, it's nothing to do with it. It's the fact of, if you want 200 people at a show, make it a reason for 200 people to come to your show, and like, if you play once a week or once every other week, you're not going to draw those big crowds, because people can just go see you the next week.
Yeah.
You got to leave them wondering when you're going to play next.
Yeah, absolutely agree. So obviously pop punk is involved quite a bit over TikTok. Like, there's all these new trends of making like new sounds, whether it's hip hop, synth. We actually had a group on for Free Friends not too long ago, and they have a cello in their band. So what do you think of like this new iteration of like music styles of adding these different sounds to like what's considered pop punk?
Well, I mean, bands have been doing that forever. Look at Yellow Card, like, add a violin. People have always been adding hip hop and stuff, and other kind of genres in their music forever. So I mean, keep it up. There's so much music out right now, it's hard to be unique and different, because there's already 1,500 different subgenres in every genre. It's like, just do what you want to do and just enjoy it.
Totally agree. So we're seeing bands like Green Day, obviously Blink, Fall Out Boy, they have just blown up pop punk. What bands do you see like are there going to be like that next wave of bands that are going to be as big as like a Green Day or a Blink?
I don't know. I mean, there's so many good bands right now. And who's to say who will be the next big thing? But I mean, there's like Magnolia Park is incredible. They're blowing up. They've been They've
They're
been
everywhere.
you know. There's a band that I actually just interviewed yesterday. They're gonna be on Bonnaroo, Winona Fighter. They're fucking great. They're like on their way, like, and their music is incredible. Love them. The new Heart Attack Man album is incredible. Speaking of trying different things, I think it was Lil Aaron they had produced their newest record, and he's like, he's just, he's typically a pop hip hop type producer. They brought him in to do this, and that album's incredible. It was like probably one of my my favorite albums right now.
Okay, cool.
So
cool.
I mean, there's tons of good stuff out there.
Yeah, it's like absurd. It's hard to listen to it all. So you mentioned earlier that you listen to literally everything, that if like a band comes to you on your website or something, when a new band like reaches out to you though, what do you usually look for? Like obviously pop punk or emo, but what are you like actually looking for in them?
Heart, I guess. Yeah, I guess that makes the most sense. Like, cause like I am way more like stoked to work with a band that isn't the best band in the world.
Yep.
But wants to get better, wants to promote themselves, wants to promote everybody else, wants to be a part of a community, over a band that's really good but won't even take the fucking time to talk to you. Like, I mean, there's plenty of bands I can name bands off the top of my head that are great, but think they're too good, and they're not, and that's that's a bummer. It's like, you're never too good, never.
Exactly. Absolutely.
That could go away very quickly.
Yeah, especially in pop punk. There's a freaking billionaire. Come on. Like, I mean, in just music in general, everybody can be a musician right now. All you need is a phone and a guitar. Or not even. Just a phone.
Right.
Yeah, we kind of call it that emo revival that's in trend right now. And that like intermixes basically like pop punk and all alternative bands, like true emo, like Dashboard and things like that. So they're all lumped together on like all these festivals now. Do you think that's good for new bands that are up and coming, that they have like a better chance of catching up with, like maybe pairing with these older bands? Or do you think it like oversaturates that area?
I mean, I definitely don't think so, because you've got, so every generation has this kind of revival, like, I mean, back in the 70s, Aerosmith was gigantic, and then they went away for a little bit, and then they came back again in the 90s. It's every generation kind of goes through this, and it's pop punk's turn right now. And it's great. And I think all of these other bands, the legends, they're all going out of their way to take these small, like these newer up and coming bands. I mean, Turnstile is out on tour with Blink-182. That's wild. That's awesome. Like I said, Winona Fighter is on Bonnaroo. Like, that's crazy, but then if you look at like the When We Were Emo Fest, it's like you've got Blink-182, Green Day, you've got all the legends, but you also got Magnolia Park on there. You've also got, like, that's how a lot of these smaller, like these like newer bands are going to get noticed, because you're going to get the Green Day fans finally being able to see you because they didn't see you before.
Yeah, I actually like took a look at some of those festival lineups and start at the bottom and look at the smaller bands and see which ones that I haven't heard of before, and try to like listen to them on Spotify and see if I can find a new band that I like that way.
But even like Young Culture, we just saw them. They were the middle band for Meet Me at the Altar, and they're going to be on Riot Fest. They're like one of the first names at the bottom of Riot Fest. It's like, what a huge opportunity for a band like that. Yeah.
Well, and same thing with some friends of ours in a band called House Parties from Texas. Like, they're all over TikTok right now. but they just got added to a couple of the Hawthorne Heights is for Lovers.
Oh, nice. Yep.
So they got added to like the 2 of the dates. So I mean, you know, you got all of these legends in the scene are going out of their way to work with smaller bands in the up and coming scene to try and, you know, build that scene. That's one of the things I've liked the most about pop punk, and why I've always been drawn to it, is that there's such a sense of community in this scene. And it's kind of always been that way. It's always been very inclusive.
Yeah, what do you think about that? Like this TikTok era of bands. You'll find bands on TikTok that have like 200,000 followers, and then you go on their Spotify and they don't have that many listeners. Do you think that that's like affecting the way that music is, or do you think it's affecting more of like their marketing?
So TikTok is a fickle beast. I mean, anyone that, you know, tries to be a content creator on TikTok, you know, knows the struggle. I mean, we try to do it. I also don't spend a lot of time focusing on TikTok. But TikTok is main purpose. So I guess before I go into that really quick, like I'll ask you the same thing I ask everybody else with it. You guys use TikTok, right? You use it just to watch stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you're watching something at any point in time ever, other than uploading your own video doesn't count, have you ever gone to your following page, or do you sit on your For You page?
No. Usually the For You page.
Yeah, no one.
Yeah.
No one goes to the following page. So your follower count really doesn't matter, because like you can go ahead and you can follow me right now, but you just said that you never go look at it. So unless I pop up on your For You page again, you're never going to see my stuff.
Yeah.
So TikTok's main objective, your main goal, and that's why when you see a lot of these videos, you see the same shit rehashed over and over and over again. That's because TikTok is designed for new viewership every time. Your goal, every single video on there, is to find new people, new viewers. So because you're not, if you want your dedicated stuff, that's what Instagram's for. That's what, you know, any other social media is for, your dedicated followers, the people that look at your stuff. Your goal for TikTok is to get somebody to think that that 30 seconds that you captivated them to leave TikTok and go anywhere else to go find your stuff. That's the goal, because otherwise, like, TikTok it's a great social media. It's a great tool. I find so much funny stuff and knowledge. I mean, Jesus, the political side of TikTok is insane. And like, I've learned way too much.
The political side right now on the algorithm.
I learned more on there than I learned from the news. And I think that's pretty real, because one thing's real, one thing's not. No, or they just let you know what they want you to know.
Right.
Again, that kind of goes back to what you said before, is like the bands that are like out there doing the hustle and like really getting out there. I mean, even on Instagram, I've gotten so many messages from bands like, hey, please check out our music. Like, I still respect that. And back in the day, it used to be like street teams and, you know, people standing outside of shows, handing out flyers or CDs. And it's definitely different now with TikTok, but that's not something I ever thought of before, is that, you can have that huge following there, but is it following you elsewhere?
Right.
I mean, I have so many friends that have over 100,000, 200,000 followers on TikTok, but still get 200 views on videos and stuff. You know, it's like, it just, it is what it is. Like, unless TikTok really loves you, or you're doing something really great, use it for what it is. but TikTok wants you to make 1 to 2 videos every single day.
Yeah.
To stay relevant. And you know, I do this for my job. I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I mean, and I get to do this. I get to do this for a job.
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
So now that you do get to do that for a job and you get to really like deep dive into new music, what were some of the bands that you listened to growing up that like influenced your music, and are you still seeing them live? Because, you know, a lot of bands are coming back right now.
Yeah, I mean, so first off, funny enough, I've never been one that went to a lot of shows. I have a lot of anxiety about crowds. But it was different when I was performing, because that's different. That's different. You're looking at me now. And it's always about me. As
it should be.
Yeah.
I just like, for shows, like I always got like, I actually go to more shows now than I did when I was younger. I used to get so anxious, like with people touching me, like, and like being in the crowd, and also sad getting lost, scared of getting lost. Like seriously, it's wild.
Now you have a GPS on you at all times. So
I know.
you're good.
I know. I don't have to worry about it. I'm good now. But so like bands, I guess it all depends on where you want to start with my music loving relationship.
Okay, well, what about like, can you think of a band when you were a kid and then bands when you were a teenager?
Yeah.
Like,
So
when you're young, you think of.
All right, well, we'll start. Yeah, we're gonna start out hot here, okay?
Yes.
The first music that made me decide that I wanted to be a musician for the rest of my life was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Coming Out of Your Shells tour tape. I still have it on cassette.
Yes.
I have if you want to hear, I have a very big long story. I guess it's not that long, but I have a story about that whole cassette tape. So
Go right ahead. We got time.
Yeah. I need to know.
So I was on my way home from school. I was on the school bus. And I was just chilling, sitting by myself. And then this girl comes and sits next to me. Now, I don't know why. I don't remember any of this part, but I started just bawling, just started crying. This girl sat next to me.
That's the anxiety.
Freaking out, started crying. And so she looks at me, she's like, it's okay. It's like, and she's like, do you like the Ninja Turtles? I'm like, well, yeah, I like the Ninja Turtles. And so she goes, here, listen to this. Here, listen. And it like puts it on, and she gives me her headphones and her cassette player. And so I put it on. I'm like, yeah, this is awesome. I'm sitting there, I'm jamming to it. And she let me listen to it the whole bus ride home. And then she gets up to go leave, and I'm like, oh, here's her stuff. Thank you for letting me listen to it. She's like, no, you can keep it. You keep it. I was like, what? She was like, it made you happy. You keep it. And so I kept it, and I still have that tape to this day. I have that tape. I don't have the tape player. I'm sorry, ma'am, but I do have the tape still.
I was waiting for you to be like, and now she's my wife.
No, I have no idea who. I don't know who it was. Don't know her name.
She's got to be like a doctor now or something, right?
She was just like my guardian turtle angel.
There's worse things you could have.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
Right. So if you're interested in learning more about the Coming Out of Their Shells tour, you can watch like the whole thing on YouTube, and it's amazing.
It's amazing.
It's amazing.
I can't wait to see what you say next.
Oh, yeah. So that's like, that was my thing. But then like in high school, I listened to a lot of like new metal.
Mhm.
Oh man, Limp Bizkit, Korn.
Yes.
Ooh, baby.
You're speaking my language.
I still listen to that. So, ooh,
Absolutely.
so good. Power Man 5000. Let's
Yes.
go. Yeah.
How did that move into pop punk?
Green Day.
Yeah.
They are the gateway drug.
Yeah. Green Day, Basket Case, I saw it on MTV. I was watching, I was like, oh, this fucks. I like this. So I got it, and then I listened to that whole cassette. Like, I'm a cassette kid, I had those cassettes. Had that, and then I listened to that thing so much. And then I went out and I was like, oh, they've got other stuff, they got other tapes, and I got Kerplunk, and I got, was it 1039 smoothed out slappy hours? Got that and listened to that forever. And then Dude Ranch came out for Blink-182, and heard Damn It on the radio, and I would sit and listen and try and listen to it and catch it on the radio, and went from then I got into like Face to Face, The Descendants. I went deep into like that side of like pop punk and punk, like No Use for a Name and all that good stuff.
That is awesome. That went from Ninja Turtles to Blink. That was a beautiful transition.
My first concert I ever went to was New Kids on the Block.
Yes. Hanging tough. I love it. Yeah. Now it's going to be in your head the rest
It's all those cassette tapes that you had. Right. They really opened up your world there.
I still got Dude Ranch on cassette too.
Oh, it's amazing.
That's so funny because I remember my very first cassette tape was Elvis Presley.
Oh, okay.
Oh, shit.
So that was like one that always stood in my mind was the song Teddy Bear. Like that was the one cassette that I could never let go. So I totally feel that on the Ninja Turtles.
Do either of you remember when like Sam Goody like had the cassette singles wall?
Yeah.
Oh, I had TLC Waterfalls single.
Hey.
Oh man. I don't know if do you remember the show Blossom?
Oh yeah. We're probably the same age. Me and you are probably close to the same age.
Well, Joey Lawrence, he released a song, had that single. I don't still have it. I wish I did though.
If you do, it's okay. You can admit it.
Yeah.
I would if I had it. Do I seem like the person that's scared to admit that?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny that you bring up TLC because Sunday night, like I guess 3 nights ago now, we saw TLC, Shaggy, and Vogue and Sean Kingston together.
Oh, nice. And Vogue. That's some good stuff.
I'll let Jess do it if she wants to, but there's a video of me slightly have some alcohol in me, just singing and dancing to In Vogue, and it's a sweet one. It's a sweet one.
Nice. There is video of me screaming at Vanilla Ice. I don't know if you've seen him live, but he stunk.
You said screaming at him, not like
I
was pissed. I was pissed. He only played 3 songs and then he like DJ'd and just played and then he was like a radio DJ and I was like, screw you, Van Winkle. I was mad. I was like, you couldn't even like get a band out there and play like your new metal album. You couldn't play Ice Ice Baby, Too Cold. You couldn't do that for me.
Yeah.
You're gonna play other people's songs on a record, not even probably on an iPod.
I was gonna say on a MacBook.
Get out of here, man. Suck.
Why do I feel like "Screw You, Van Winkle" should be on a T-shirt?
Yeah. And I mean, like, look, I wouldn't have even been so upset if he didn't play after Coolio? Fuck you, Van Winkle.
Oh,
All
this
right.
is bringing us back. Yeah, bringing us back.
That's where I get like after Coolio.
Yeah.
You don't headline Gangsta's Paradise. Gangsta's Paradise headlines you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like how do I go on with these questions after that talk?
I don't know.
Just remember, it started at Ninja Turtles and it ended at Coolio. So that's pretty
I can
impressive.
go everywhere, my friends.
No, I love it. I love it. So I know you said you've talked to like 2,000 bands about, give or take.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Have you ever thought about like putting a festival together?
So we have an event up in Duluth that we started last year called there's obviously a few different ones out there, but this is Duluth Punk Rock Flea Market. So we have live bands, we've got vendors, it's very kind of like the goal is very, very small scale, like Warped Tour, so we've got food vendors and merch vendors and stuff. We bring them from all around the state or wherever they want to come from. But
that's awesome. It's awesome.
The goal is to do it bigger, but
absolutely.
Gotta start somewhere.
Yeah. So obviously this podcast is called Ultimate Mixtape. So we would like you to add a song, and I'm scared now after we had that conversation, but what song or songs, you can do one, doesn't matter, however many you want, would you like to add to our Ultimate Mixtape? Because once we have one more episode after this for what we call our season, and then we're going to put a mixtape on Spotify together from what guests have given us.
It could be any genre.
Yeah.
Okay, well, hold your butts then.
Bring out the Nano or the Sony Yellow Walkman and tell us what it's going to be.
I mean, look, I'm gonna start out real good for me. So I mean, do you guys like legit like new metal?
Yeah, I have. I'm a big Tool fan. I'm a huge Korn fan. Okay. So yeah.
So this is one that I feel like y'all need to add to the mixtape. It's a new band called Silly Goose. I love them so much. They will probably be I would say they are in the running for my most listened to, like at Spotify rap time.
Yeah. Awesome.
So they got a song called Out of the Picture. That's what I'd say to go with, because that's like what I first heard. And that was my first introduction to them. They're incredibly cool. Like they're just young kids doing it different. And
nice.
I'm all about it.
I think we should add Ninja Turtles just because.
Okay, well, let me see it. You would need the song.
Yeah.
You need the right song. But I was trying to find, like, I have my own like unsigned pop punk playlist thing, like for like Pat's 2023 picks. I'm trying to find it, because basically once like a song hits my head, I'm like, yeah, that one. That's going on there.
And they're gonna like it.
Yeah, add Winona Fighter, Hams in a Glass. Oh, that's a good one. Like it. That's my new song right now.
Cool.
Okay, but let's look for some coming out of their shells. I don't know if it's on Spotify though. That's the only problem.
It probably isn't.
That should be like a news segment on your podcast where like you're talking about a new band that's coming out.
Coming out of
their shells. Yeah, I like it. Oh man, you just YouTube, boom, pops right up.
Hell yeah.
Oh gosh, so much good. Okay, so the song. This is the song you gotta look for. Whether it's called "Count on Us" Man, that song it's gonna hit you right in the heart.
Right in the shell.
So Bob.
Right. I'm trying to see if it's on Spotify. No, it's not.
Oh,
What do you mean you can't find it? Oh, that's it, because it's in my library. Hold on. We're not done yet. We're not found it.
Is it?
Yeah.
That'll be the first song on the playlist.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you just go into Spotify and just search for Count on Us. It's the top one.
Yes.
Oh man. We're the turtles. You can count on us. Yeah.
That right there is going to be the clip on Instagram for this podcast.
You got it.
Well, at least we have a solid song to add to the playlist.
We have 2 in a shell, so we're good. We're good.
Thank you so much, Patrick, for talking to us. Unsigned Pop Punk. We've had a blast.
Literally.
I always love learning about new music, and I love following your Instagram. You're always posting new stuff. Like you said, tell everybody a little bit about where they can find you.
Easy. You can unsigned Pop Punk the world. Literally, you can Google it. You can go to unsignedpoppunk.com. All our stuff's there. On any social media you got, just look for Unsigned Pop Punk. We're on it all pretty much. We talked about making an Unsigned Pop Punk OnlyFans to where we would just drink Ham's beer and eat hot dogs, and we would have the hams and hot dog parties, and that would be it with bands.
Somehow you would end up making more money doing that, I'm sure.
Right.
I can use it.
What's wrong with that?
Coming soon.
Right.
Coming soon. Yeah, I mean, if you're wondering if we're on something, just look for Unsigned Pop Punk. There's no underscores, there's no dashes. So cool. Unsigned Pop Punk. There we are.
Awesome. Thank you so much. We look forward to sharing your stuff. Can't wait to follow what else you have going on. Maybe one day we'll see you at a show.
I hope so.
We travel all over, so yeah, absolutely. This has been a blast, man.
Yeah, it's been a great time. Thanks for having me and chatting with me about my geeky things.
Absolutely.
Good night.
Good. All right. See you, bud.
See you later.
Bye. Thank you guys so much for listening. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe everywhere that you get your podcast. And please don't forget to send your favorite songs to our website, theultimatemixtape.com, under the contact section. And while you're at it, please check out our blog. There's a lot of reviews about recent shows we went to, pictures that I've taken. So there's a lot of concerts coming up. So we hope to see you at a show soon.
Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.